What's going on, folks? My name's Stephen Wolf, and today we're going to be painting. Yeah. Oh, God. I always forget something anytime I start streaming, I swear. Okay, there we go. Jesus. So I hope everyone's doing well. I officially... Oh, that is super bright. That is vibrant. Let me just nudge that there, and then rotate it here. No, it's still pretty harsh. Still pretty harsh, bro. There we go. My eyes, they burn to suffer. Let's see. Let's go to the painting setup so you can actually see what the camera sees. Alright, so this is our official painting setup, and I love it. And let me just... Sweet. We officially have background music now. Cool. Alright, so let's get to work. Let me just adjust the microphone here slightly. That way you guys can hear me as I do my thing. So today... Oh, I almost forgot. I found a better way to do the camera effects. So rather than having to deal with autofocus when I want to show you guys the details of a figure I'm working on, I can literally just cool, it still works. Alright. That makes me really happy. I'm really glad that worked. Alright. So let's do this. Today we're painting Reaper Mini's Rosie the Chrono Technician. based off of the character design, I kind of got a very strong Kaylee from Firefly vibe. So we're going to be doing something very similar. She's got what appears to be overalls on, as well as like a cut tank top, gloves. She had the option of either a pulse rifle looking thing or a wrench. Wrench didn't make sense. So we're going with a pulse rifle because gun violence. First things first, I primed her with a rattle can of Mechanicus Standard Gray. That's what I'm going to try and use until I can set up one of those nice airbrush hoods that actually has like the ventilation and stuff and all the filters and fun. Because I don't want to suffer and die of like acrylic poisoning in my lungs. I want as much time as I can possibly get. So let's get to work. She actually doesn't have a lot of skin showing. I'm going to have to adjust the lamp. I need better light. There we go. And hopefully my head won't run into the camera. It's pretty close. There we go. That's better. Sorry, it's a work in progress. It's a work in progress. Okay. I'm gonna do the jumpsuit first. We're using Alatok Blue. And as the Phil DeFranco says, let's just jump into it. As soon as I can find my freaking brush. There we go. And of course I drop it. Where the fuck did it go? I don't know where it went. I legit don't know where that fell to. Christ. Ah, there it is. Jesus. Murphy's Law. Okay. Okay. Perfectly fine. So, I'm actually really happy with how the primer turned out on this figure. This is in fact one of the Metal Reaper Chronoscape minis. Anytime you gotta paint a metal figure, I totally suggest using some sort of spray primer. Brush primers will definitely get chunky. That's been my experience, at least. Your mileage may vary, I'm sure. I'm probably missing some like ancient hidden monk technique that I've just never seen before, but my experience with brush priming, it's hit or miss. Sometimes you can do really great and then you miss like some weird finicky spot and then the shading's off. I'm really happy with how this shade of blue is going on. Something you're going to find out, and this is something my parents showed me, the internet has showed me, so hopefully you find this one out if you end up painting your own figures. The undercoat you use will greatly decide what color is going to show up on the figure. So for example, if I start painting Alatok blue over white, it's going to look lighter here than it does here, simply because it's got a lighter undercoat. Painting is weird, but it's pretty fun. And if you get like the right circumstances, or even like moderately good circumstances, it's really relaxing. Alright, the blue's taken care of. Let's do... Should probably get the flesh tone out of the way, because then I can paint the other details and not have to worry about it. I'm trying something different with the flesh tone. Instead of using the kind of watery hit or miss flat flesh XF15, which is definitely something I would suggest for like airbrushing, I'm going to try out Cadian flesh tone, because Games Workshop. Some of the other flesh tones that they have are like Bugman's Glow and a couple other fun ones. I like the color of Cadian flesh tone, just putting it simply. Let's go with this brush. Wait, no, I gotta do... She's got very well-defined eyes, so I want to actually paint her eyes. And there's a specific technique to doing that. Wonder who this character would be. I know Reaper sells this character as a chrono technician, sort of like a Rosie the Riveteer kind of thing going on, but I like seeing, as I paint a character sometimes, it's like, well, what sort of person would this be for the universe I'm putting together, you know? So for example, I've been working on writing a Starfinder campaign for a couple of friends of mine, and seeing a character like this, it's like, alright, what faction would she be working for? Who would she be allied with? What would her personality be, even? I don't know. Yeah, it's kind of because I'm having to manually adjust the focus. It's okay if it's out of focus a little bit here, Zach. Remember, I'm dealing with a crappy camera. It's alright if it's a little out of focus. I think it's actually enough flesh tone for one day. Yeah, that went on perfectly. Alright, cool. Alright, so let's do the technique for the eyes. How did I do this again? We're gonna need the fine detail. And it's white. Not quite white. It's that nice tilted more towards me. Oh, it's going off camera. Okay, sorry. That should be better. There we go. Thank you. Don't need too much white. Just enough to get this Sweet, now we just gotta get the flesh tone on there without screwing up the rest of it. Nerd! Hey Jordan, how you doing, buddy? Oh, did you get the evac notification on your phone? I'm gonna have to try and find a way to get into West Ashley just so I can spend the next 4 or 5 days at work. And if we can't find a way, then I'm probably gonna lose my job. Which is as highly cracking up as it sounds. Alright, let's get that last bit of flesh tone on the character. I like the lack of a reaction. Cool. Her face is actually done now. She'll look better once I get the wash on her, obviously, but... yeah. That little touch of the eye technique really helps. And that's from someone who isn't good at it. I've seen some people that are absolutely incredible with painting eyes on these figures. Or on these kinds of figures. There we go. Alright. Oh, forgot to put the focus back. Right. Well done, Steve. 10 out of 10 camera work. Okay. undershirt should she have? What is blue's complement? Orange. That would make sense. She's actually an engineer. Alright, let's do that. We just happen to have Jotaro Orange. Fuck's sake. Oh, you're going to approach me? I can't kick your ass from over here. Then come at me. Yeah, we're going with JoJo memes today. That would work. I think I know who this girl would be. You guys ever play the game Unreal? Our player character basically fights their way to freedom after their prison ship crashes. I kind of like the idea of this chick being put in a similar situation, having to earn her freedom after a kinda screwed situation. And it's because of her abilities as an engineer that she was able to survive. Maybe, because of the events that transpired, she either earned a pardon or she was drafted into the military as sort of a, rather than locking her away in an ISO cube, which would be a waste of talent, they make her part of a crew as a stipulation of her sentence. That would be interesting. I have to put together a character sheet for this girl once I get the chance. So I'm going back to the flesh tone because I noticed that there's a tank top line that I didn't see initially. There we go. Alright, the orange is pretty good. Let me get the brown next. Go back to the same shade of brown. I'm gonna do something. I like the idea of her having a sort of reddish tinge to the hair. What can I say? I know what I like. So I'm actually going to do something that I did a while back for a mech figure. Sorry. Yeah, I'm going to use the technique I used a while back for a mech figure, where I started with a brown paint, and then utilized, where is it? Carroburg Crimson as a wash, to give it a sort of rosewood look. Kind of like the idea of using that for her hair. Obviously that idea might change as we go further along, but could be fun. Whoever the artist was that sculpted this figure, I appreciate them greatly. Her ears are covered with headsets, so you don't have to worry about trying to sculpt ears or paint them. I do greatly appreciate that. If you don't get ears right, it throws off the whole face. On to the rest of the equipment. I don't want to go too heavy when it comes to some of the paint. I mean, The rifle kind of reminds me of some of the older 2000 AD artwork. It's got a very distinct look to it. I like it. It's like the perfect level of cheesy. It's a whole bunch of leather pouches and metal tools. I'm actually going to have to try and remember to leave a link in the YouTube video description so that if you guys want to paint this figure, if you guys want to do it up your own way, you can find it so that you can do that. Yeah, note to future Steve, try and leave a link to this particular mini in the YouTube video description. By the way, this video is in no way sponsored or supported by anyone. I just happen to like sharing things that I enjoy. There we go. Can't have an engineer without big honking gloves. Nice. So far, so good. I'd end up changing some of the colors in these belt pouches. There we go. Something that I can't help but notice and find kind of funny is the boot designs in this character. Like, let me zoom in real quick. So the boots have a very specific design, right? You got like the armor plating, you got the leather underneath. I can't help but think about the boots from the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Legit. That's all I can see. I'll pull up a picture for reference. Yeah, there we go. No, that's a terrible picture. Yeah, there we go. You see this? Let me try and find a better one, but all these pictures are terrible. Setting, tools, size, pooch. Bruh. Yeah, look at the boot design. Look at the boot design here. And then look at the boot design here. And tell me there's a god. I don't think anyone's gonna get that Aqua Teen Hunger Force reference, and I'm probably gonna get shit on. I feel like I should definitely make the boots. I should probably paint them up with Iron Warrior. That would make the most sense. Yeah. Or the metal structure of the boots, Iron Warriors. Did my comment section die or something? Nope, still works. People are just quiet. That's alright, story of my life. I can't tell if she's wearing a scarf. See, that's weird. It's like, there's this little cloth strip right here that definitely goes up to her neck, but you've got the tank top line, and I genuinely can't tell if she's wearing like a scarf or a kerchief or something. I mean, it would make sense, but it's weird. It's one of those weird problems you run into when you're painting. Let me check the official artwork, because there is official artwork for this character. Rosie, Chrono Technician. Images. usually go with Dark Horse Hobbies when it comes to their images and artwork and stuff. Yeah, she's wearing a scarf. Okay, that's actually a really good paint job too, but I don't know why they painted her like that. She's clearly wearing a jumpsuit, like a overalls. That looks good. Okay, so she is wearing a scarf. It just feels weird. Alright. Thank you, Dark Horse Hobbies. You guys are awesome. Let's go with corn red. Go the traditional prospector scarf color. And also because I need varying colors on this figure. So based off of their paint job, this piece right here is part of the scarf. That's actually kind of handy. It's actually really handy. Sweet. Back to the brown because I was silly. So there are these little, like, suspender lines right here that I would be remiss in my duties if I didn't paint them. there's like this little overlap spot right there, so I gotta fix that real quick. It says easy. Yeah, I can't do it at that height. There we go. Hopefully it's in focus, 'cause I'm broke. There we go. Like, sure, it's a detail that's going to be 90% hidden on the figure, but I know that I painted it. There we go. I try to keep it simple when it comes to the painting. While this character is for my collection, I do still prefer, like, I didn't like that she was just a strip of metal across and would go into the base, so I did this little trick with some cork and some free time. It's the same trick I did with Darkseid over here, who has, this is a gift for a buddy of mine that was meant to be a birthday gift that sort of evolved into a Christmas gift. Both of these guys, like Superman, this figure has a really cool texture to the base that's the lighting can really pick up really well. It's like he's supposed to be standing in the Fortress of Solitude or something, especially with the base piece that he's standing on. But Darkseid, he just had like a strip of metal going across his feet, and you would put him in the base, and I was like, that's boring. So a little bit of cork, some super glue, some free time, and some plastic from a sprue, and some spare chunks. D&D has helped 1,000% with your creativity and drawing, and your group is amazing. That's awesome, dude. That's actually really lucky that your group is awesome from word go. Legit, that's freaking rare. I was fortunate enough that my first D&D group was also like super, super awesome, and then the next D&D group was like 2 people's power trips, and everyone else was just sort of toting along. It's like, alright, cool, we're gonna watch 2 people and the DM have fun in their corner. We're gonna pretend to fight stuff, maybe, sorta. You're gonna run into a lot of interesting characters playing D&D, I can already promise you that. Alright, let's move on. I need to do some black. It's online for you, so it was 2 of your online friends. They've been playing D&D for 10 years, and they're like, hey, want to join the game? Nice. Very nice. Yeah, my experiences with D&D, I was working at a Walmart at the time, and one of my coworkers was trying to get a group off the ground. They had a good amount of players, but I happened to get the invite. And the rest, as they say, is history, really. Yeah, do you guys use Roll20, or are you just like, I would, or is it like D&D Advanced, where you tell the DM what you want to do, and then they decide? Which is something I thought was really weird about the earliest versions. Playing a bird monk for regular D&D, and the other story is Witcher, so you're playing a hobo insane elf. And it's Roll20. Okay, cool. There's got to be some really crazy lore about that elf. Can already tell. Oh, I'm putting down a layer of black so that when I put the Runefang steel on there, it doesn't look like trash. For whatever reason, Runefang steel on gray looks weird. I'll show you what I mean in just a sec. I'll leave this part of the muzzle unpainted. I'm just going to show you right now. She's had an interesting life. I believe it, dude. Especially if it's in like the Witcher universe. Man, That place doesn't pull any punches. Even George Martin is like, that's some pretty grim stuff, my guy. Yeah, go for it. Let's hear it. You're the one in the group that draws everything that happens after playing. Oh, nice! Never had that in any of my groups. That's really cool. So this is what I meant by she also draws about 3 of your group of 5 draw. So you're always exchanging stuff. That's awesome, dude. This is what I meant initially about putting silver over gray. Not sure how well that's going to show up. I'm getting pretty close to the lamp. That's better. So the silver on the barrel, you can almost barely tell that it's there. And also the camera is off focus, so that doesn't help either. There you go. Like, you can see the silver on the barrel. It's got the reflectiveness, but it doesn't really work. But the moment you get silver on black, it really pops. Friend of yours started playing D&D for the first time a few years ago, and she showed you her journal where she records everything the group does in Druidic. That is a heck of an investment. Yeah, like the main reason I like putting the silver over black is because it gives it a nice edge highlight pop. It's like something I did for a figure. After I finish painting her and letting the wash settle, I'll show off a different figure that I painted where this sort of edge highlighting was really handy. Let me get the big brush, go back to the black. Copied from English to Druidic the characters in the player's handbook. What? Oh yeah, voice acting is always fun for characters, absolutely. there was a Marvel RPG group I was a part of. There is a Marvel RPG group I was a part of. They're still ongoing. I don't know how the hell, but one of the characters, people were encouraged to play multiple characters because there were different teams doing their own things. And one of my characters was a southern gunslinger from like, oh lord, I think he had like run into a meteor or something, and that made him basically immortal. He was cool. Yeah, BLT is way too good at sound effects. He starts going into like Cthulhu noises, like it's like, what the hell's going on here? Oop. Quiddy G18 is now following. Sweet. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. Yes, BLT actually does stream. That is, in fact, where our Curse of Strahd game played out. I believe I was mirroring his channel. If you click on his name, you should be able to go to his page and give him a follow as well. Nice. Yeah, that was where that whole Curse of Strahd thing played out. It escalated quickly, and then we sort of one-punched man the final boss. It was great. It was absolutely great. It was like, yeah, we should probably run away from Strahd, the big bad evil guy. It isn't fun if everything goes well. Absolutely, right? It's like, oh, cool, we're low on ammo, we're low on health, and there's a wyvern. Let's do this. Okay, let me do the other side, because that's probably drier. So I actually did have to sand down the barrel slightly. It was at a weird angle because of the mold. And then it ended up giving it this cool, like, muzzle brake texture to it. Come on, cooperate. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it, but... yeah. Just slightly from the sanding, because I had to use a metal file, it gives it a muzzle brake texture by accident. Yeah. One of those weird little, like, serendipitous sort of things. Or is it Kismet? I'm not sure. Your DM for Witcher is always like, well, this should be simple for the group. Then remembers your elf is like, never mind, forgot about Zephyra, we're gonna die. It's about right. How did I get that cut? I don't remember how I got that. Yeah, weird. Okay, well, the gun is basically finished. The bit on the gun right here feels more like a heavy iron sight or one of the sights from Titanfall rather than an actual hollow sight, so that actually makes my life a touch easier. I'm going to... I need to do XF57 on that belt pouch there. If she's cobbling together her equipment, then there's going to be different colors, different camo patterns. Bit too much on the brush. There we go. Nice. That actually looks like a fantasy belt pouch. I like it. Okay. Let's just do this little bit right there too. Why not? Give it some texture. Let's do a green pouch. This is literally the only time I'm going to be using my tan color. Let's go with Olive Drab XF26. Wait, XF62, because I'm dyslexic apparently. There we go. Alright. You haven't streamed D&D in a while, you might pick it up again based on player feedback? Absolutely, dude. I didn't always get the chance to watch your streams, but man, even watching the videos later on were always fun, you know? There's a good amount of history. You should do what I'm doing and upload your streams to like an archive YouTube channel. Yes, Zach, I know your character has been ready for months. You know I'm also broke and I'm trying to afford a car. Right, you do I'm an idiot. Yeah, BLT, you do upload your stuff to a channel. I forgot. I actually forgot. Oh yeah, let's let's see the story on your homeless elf of murder. By all means. Where the crap did my Iron Warriors go? There it is. Alright. I'm going to use Iron Warriors for the... Ugh, that needs to be shaken up. I'm going to use Iron Warriors for the goggles and her boots, but I'm going to use Balthazar Gold for her belt buckle and some of the tools. In case you guys want to do like a paint by numbers kind of thing, I don't know. Once you see an orc holding a sandwich, that's him. Yeah. The notorious BLT. I haven't had a BLT in an age. And now I'm hungry. Thanks. Oh, Jesus. She lived in a secluded elf village that was raised by a creature. It rained fire. Her parents were murdered. The creature sent her a flame... Woke up to a forest of charcoal and ash. Has been guarding it for 10 years. She hears the voices of the dead and likes to play games with anyone that passes. Melina from Mortal Kombat and Azula. Fun! Sounds like a headache to try and get along with, but I'm sure she's the party's highlight reel. What do the squirrels think about... What do the Scoia'tael think about her? Yeah. Hearing voices is a very fun but dangerous avenue, especially if it's handled appropriately. there was a group I had read about that one of the characters did have the disadvantage of hearing voices, and the DM would text her the different things she would hear, and based off of the interactions with what she heard, she would reply or make comments and stuff to the things that none of the other players knew about. It was a nice little additional touch. So far, she's been beaten by maids for being rude, ate bad fruit because she couldn't tell the difference, and is now playing a tree in a play. She's not the one causing trouble in the group? What? How the hell? I'm morbidly curious. Yeah, that was close. Alright, BLT, you gotta head off and get ready for your stuff. Good luck with the painting. Yeah, I hope they never dry out, too. Have a good one, BLT. After this, I gotta actually pack because I gotta be at work tomorrow morning because of Hurricane Dorian. So that's gonna be fun. More like, she's bored, time to mess things up. Fun. See you, dude. Clean off the brush. So she's occupied with everything else for now. There we go. Alright, boots are looking good. I just gotta get the headset. Your group is a walking disaster. You have someone that has a habit of making lewd or rude jokes and being sassy. Exciting. No, dull moments can be good. The lewd talk can be very annoying, I agree. Like, even around Bard, some lewd talk can be just, alright, we get it. You watch anime porn. You had one the other day, you were starting a Pathfinder campaign. Before we could even get into it, one of the guys was constantly talking about Tenet. Yeah, I've seen enough heresy out there to know where that story is going to end up going. That's gross. He just makes little jokes like, oh, I'm sure that's what happened in the room. Yeah. See, that sort of stuff can be highly amusing. Especially if handled appropriately. There was the first D&D group I was part of. The adventuring party went into the wizard's permanent pocket dimension. It was like he had a bag of holding that had a miniaturized apartment in it, so it was like a bag of Winnebago essentially. And the rogue is the first person to wake up. She's wandering around. She hears a noise from a nondescript room. The door is locked, so she lockpicks the door, cracks it open. She hears running water, and the wizard suddenly panicking, "Knock next time! What the heck?" as he reaches for a towel. That sort of stuff is funny. Or like innuendo jokes are a little bit of funny. But some stuff is just gross. Yes, future viewers, my mom included, yes, I'm drinking root beer. We never go over the top. That's good. That's actually very lucky. And I will end up using some... Right? Like, that's what she said jokes and phrasing references are still funny because of that, because of innuendo. Like, someone says something sketchy, you just go, phrasing. And then everyone has a laugh and we keep moving. I swear, with the right paint job, this character would fit in perfectly in the video game Sin. What colors am I thinking of for the base? I honestly don't know yet. I want something that's a little bit darker, that way I'm not drawing attention away from her. I might end up just putting a wash down and then dry brushing some black. Or not black, I might put some black down, or put down some brown and then do a dry brush. That way I get the edges. But I'm not sure yet. I'll figure it out. I always do. I haven't used Balthasar Gold in a while. Jesus. Yeah, that's better. Why not? That could be kind of cool looking. Make it mud-like, earthy tones. That would be interesting. Yeah, I might do that. I am going to do a goggle technique that I've been doing for a while. I did it on Zach's figure. I'm going to use Screaming Bell for the lens of the goggles. It's a nice, solid color. There we go. Now, if only I can apply this color knowledge to anything you draw, coloring is not your strong suit. Yeah, just try and keep it in the lines and you're good, dude. You're already halfway better than a lot of people that are on the internet. Yeah, I know Flailing Scott personally. We're roommates. He's literally 2 doors away right now. So if I accidentally out him as Zach, it's because I call him Zach in his personal life. That's what the paint bucket is for. Paint bucket. The paint bucket. Alright, we're looking pretty good. Let's get some washes on there. I'm going to use a brown wash for most of it. Yeah. Agrax Earthshade. Just don't need to go crazy and it'll look pretty good. And also I gotta be careful because I don't want to screw up the flesh tone. one mistimed sneeze later, everything goes flying. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would suck. Why you gotta wish that upon me, dude? That's rude. Go. I actually gotta wait for the wash on her head to dry so that I can do the hair color correctly. But in the meantime, I can do the skin tone. And I can show you guys a pretty cool technique. Huh? Oh, that bit. The heck is this clip?
Yes. Right, it's like the wrestling dude. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that bit. Dick. That was a while ago. Jesus. Yeah! Oh shit. And it was the lamp because I didn't have it secured. Not paint. You butthole. It is pretty funny. Alright, skin tone. Going with Reichland Flesh Shade. And again, don't need to go crazy, but we need it to look good. It is funny, yes. Alright. Now the hard part. There we go. There's like a hair on this brush that is just not cooperating. There it goes. You did that once on stream, but with a custom Funko you made, it went flying. The hand broke off. You haven't glued it back on. You hit the wall. It's usually what happens. Didn't steal a thing, yet his hand was taken from him. There we go. Alright, she is looking pretty good, but we gotta let her dry so that I can do the hair properly. Actually, no, the headgear has dried enough that I can do the hair properly. So like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to do like a reddish brown hair. Whenever you find your glue gun, maybe you'll glue it back on. So we're using Carroburg Crimson to take her hair from brown to rosewood. Get some plastic glue. It works better and you can find it relatively cheap. Yeah. Alright, we're going to let her dry. Try not to hit the camera. There we go. Yeah. That's looking pretty good. Once all the washes and stuff dry, we'll be able to dry brush on some of the highlights. We can use the base coats and also some slightly lighter versions of said base paint. Easy peasy. Last time I streamed, the video got a little beat, but last time I streamed I painted up this guy. And this is a perfect example of what edge highlights can do for you. Let me just zoom in real quick. Yeah. So I painted up this guy basically as a... Yeah, this is for Zack's Starfinder character. He wanted a dwarf engineer who had, like, power armor and stuff, right? Yeah, exactly. By adding the gray highlights to the edges of the armor and having him look a little beat, he ends up looking fantastic. The color choice, though, since this is a character that Zack is able to hop into, I actually went with, let's see if I can find the picture. Yeah, he wanted a very muted color tone, so I ended up going with the artwork of BT from Titanfall 2. If we can go over to the main setup. You know, it's very green. It's literally the same colors. It's an olive drab-ish with white and orange detailing. And I absolutely love BT as a character. Like, he's just a fun character. And then we go back to the painting setup and literally the same. So I'm really happy with how this guy turned out. I'm going to try and get some proper pictures and put them on the Discord. One of my favorite little details, though, is that on the torso plate right here, it says front towards enemy. You can almost sort of tell when I get him, like, hyper close. Yeah, front towards enemy. You have the latest camera tech. Nice. This guy took an age to properly finish. He took like 3 hours from start to finish paint after I had primed him. But he looks good. I also used a technique on the silver. I painted the gun silver, and then by using Drakenhof Nightshade, it made it look like blued steel. which it's kind of hard to tell now, but I like it. It's a subtle difference between this and the raw silver of the heavy bolt gun. So, and that chain, that ammo chain, this is way too much fun. Yeah, this guy was fun to paint. Absolutely. The brass really pops with it, right? It looks great. Like, you can see like this really nice orange paneling, the metal, the bullet casing. So gold, when it comes to acrylics, looks weird unless you do like a base layer of like brown or yellow, but of like a very dark yellow. So I literally, like, I painted the gun black, had to go back into the casings on the inside, painted those brown, and then was able to do the gold on the inside. It's a friggin' headache. But it looks cool, and it's done. I don't have to modify it anymore. Another figure I did recently was this cool little Mad Max knockoff. Let me just... There we go. So this is another Reaper figure. This is the Dark Warrior, or the Road Vigilante, or whatever BS name they came up with so they don't get sued. It's literally like, he's got the leather armor, the sleeve. Yes, I did blood on the side of the head on purpose. I didn't realize until I had put the primer down that there was like this giant seam on his head. So I removed the seam, and then the paint wasn't sticking there until I went with a darker color. How does the big shotgun fit a tiny holster like that? Jesus, dude, phrasing. You said big. I said big. You didn't read the comment. Nah, it was still funny. Anyway, but yeah, this guy was actually a good amount of fun to paint. I did go with the color palette from the most recent Mad Max film so that he would look appropriate. I wanted him to look closer to the what was the name of the actor? Oh my god. I wanted him to look like the most recent version of Mad Max. As much as I love the Mel Gibson films, I can't remember the name of the new guy, which is annoying the hell out of me, because I really liked that movie. Also, so the Mad Max guy and Rosie over here are part of the same company, the same series, Reaper Miniatures. The giant mech dude is from a company called Corvus Belli, and it's for their tabletop game Infinity. I think he's for Ariadna. Yeah, he's a Ariadna Blackjack. So heavy combat gear, all sorts of fun. One of the other armies in Infinity is Hak Islam. And they have dudes like this. This guy was way too much fun to paint. This I'm actually going to be using for a gunslinger character in Starfinder. And because he's a gunslinger, I had to go with a paint job that resembled the Man with No Name's poncho in Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Hence the... You can't really tell, but they're there, I promise. There are white stripes on the poncho. When you actually look up the poncho, it's there. You can use those models for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Yeah, I mean, that would work. Just start trying to do a, for the wolves. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that would work really well. I wonder what other. There are the Ayatars. 2 viral pistols. I mean, if I could find other figures like that, like little gunslinger over there, absolutely. That would be pretty crazy. You wanted it. You bought it. Alright. I mean, at the end of the day, it is your money. Just don't get that stupid, ridiculous statue, please. You don't have any room for that damn thing. Alright, is she dry? Almost. She's getting there. I might end up just starting to work on some of my Space Marines a little bit. So I've been painting Space Marines for a hot minute. Power Fist. They're technically a successor chapter to Black Templar. Got the really awesome shoulder pads. You need to look into getting little figures to paint. We have a few stores over there, but not much. Yeah, what state or country do you live in? Like, we don't need like crazy specific details, but New York? Yo! I was just recently living up there. Alright. So you've probably already been to the Warhammer store out near, what was it, Astor Square? Yeah, you gotta go all the way out to like Long Island for Fire and Dice, or Astoria if you want to hit up, what was it, Good Games NYC? Which, if you know the subway routes, it's not that bad, but it's a constant drain on income. And if you're going to be buying figures or playing D&D at certain places, they're gonna charge you. I think it was just the Warhammer store that didn't charge you for playing, but some of the store owners were a bit rules lawyers. It's actually how I made some of the friends I have on the internet. I think there's also, oh shit, there was another place, because I still have the bookmarks. Oh god, there's another video for You Can't Stop Progress. Of course there is. I do actually still have the bookmarks for New York. So let me just zoom out real quick on my phone. Zoom back into New York City. There we go. Because like literally all of the bookmarks, rules lawyering is okay, right? Let me just nudge this slightly so you got me in focus. So far for figures, you just made your own out of air dry clay. It worked for making your group's characters. Nice! It's actually pretty handy. Let's see. There's a New Brand Gaming, but I never got the chance to go out there because it's all the way out in frickin' Sunset Park. No, those are places where I had to go. Yeah, if you ever end up out by Washington Square Park, there's like 3 places nearby that are great. Yes, Complete Strategist. It's actually really big. It's a really cool place to hang out, but like there's not a lot of room to game. They do have gaming rooms off to the side somewhere, but I never had the time to actually play out there. Their collection is friggin' huge. Like, they got some older Warhammer stuff, they got some D&D, Pathfinder, and Starfinder figures. They even have some Warlord Games stuff, like Bolt Action and things like that. I actually picked up some of my Warhammer stuff there. Really great, really knowledgeable people. A little bit south from there, so where the hell was Uncommons? Because my dumbass at one point walked from Uncommons to... Or walked from the Complete Strategist to the Warhammer store. It's... past Madison Square Park. You wouldn't go to play, you just need figures. That's fine. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, well the heck south is the Warhammer store. It's, if you're taking the train, you would be getting off near Cooper Triangle and Astor Place. Like, there's the Warhammer store, which has a metric ton of Warhammer figures, and some of the staff is a little silly, but most of the rest of the staff are really cool. Great collection of people. If you run into Stanislav, tell him I said hi. And right nearby is a board game cafe called Uncommons. I only ever poked my head in. You had to, like, reserve a table, but you would be able to, like, get coffee and snacks and play board games with friends. It was pretty cool. If you go well the crap north, like the other side of Central Park, there was a really nice place called Hex and Company. Absolutely fantastic area. Great community. They actually have people actively playing X-Wing miniatures, 3.5 and 5th edition D&D. So if that's your thing, if you end up wanting to join an in-person group, it's there. And really just genuine people. I think the only other places I felt comfortable going... oh, I forgot about Jan's! Oh man, I only ever went there once. There's a place out by 96th Street, Jan's Hobby Shop. Yeah, X-Wing did kind of die off. Sorry. But yeah, out by the 96th Street subway, there's a Jan's Hobby Shop. Little mom and pop's place. Metric ton of proper model kits and paints. That's where I got most of my Tamiya paints from, is Jan's. She prefers cash. She hates card purchases. It's one of those weird, finicky things. And yeah, if you head out... What the hell is that? I never went to the Geekery. And I seem... Wait, was the Geekery it? No. What? No. Where the shit? I seem to have lost the bookmark. No, right, because they changed the name. There was some weird backstory stuff. So Good Games NYC, you just want some figs to play, to put up on your shelves, maybe find some characters closer to your friends until you remake them. Yeah, absolutely, and you're gonna want to shop around. There's a lot of different websites and stuff. Again, I'm not sponsored by any. There's this place near you, 20-sided store. That sounds familiar. Why do I have a text message? What? Do not come tonight. Please be prepared to stay. Tuesday morning shift 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. You'll stay after your shift is over. Night shift you'll take over 6 p.m. 6 a.m. Everyone please drive safe, be cautious, be on time. And I gotta bring my own blanket and a fucking pillow. Thanks, security. The 20-sided store. I think I saw that place on the map at one point, but I never got the chance to go out there. Literally, why do I have like this one bookmark out in the fucking out in fucking Hicksville. Oh, it's another Warhammer store that I never got the chance to visit. Yeah, absolutely. I'll check it out, and so long as it's not like anything weird, I'll actually show it on the stream. Yeah, I'm all the way out in South Carolina right now. It's the only reason I'm able to stream today is because of the fucking hurricane. I normally stream Mondays and Tuesdays, but hurricanes. Open link in new tab. That's not bad. Yeah. That's not bad at all. Very cool. Yeah, let's go over main setup. How long have you been painting? You've been doing it for about a year. That's fine. Yeah. Something I found is helpful is thinning your paints. Because it kind of looks like there's like a texture to some of the paint, especially on some of the darker parts right there. There's like a weird texturing to it, and on the face. If just going back and forth between that... Yeah, that happens. Like, going from that to... But that's just because I've been doing it for, like, friggin' years. Literally just thinning the paints with a little bit of water or paint thinner. I'm not being harsh. At all, actually. I just didn't have a good way to say it. But... Anyways, what was I trying to say? No, I forgot what I was trying to say, and then friggin' Zach was being like, a little bit of airbrush thinner or clean water, and just getting the brush, like dampening the brush, mixing it around a little bit, and then it works pretty well. And thin coats is always better than like just slapping paint on there. How do I mute a conversation on my phone? There we go. The clay you use didn't work well with the paints too. Another one of those hard way sort of situations. Yeah, certain clays don't cooperate very well with acrylics. What I've been doing is using a spray primer, again from Citadel, because it's an acrylic primer. It's an acrylic paint being used on plastic or metal figures that 9 times out of 10 are specifically designed to take paint. Just something helpful. I think she's dry now. She is! Good. Alright. Cool. So that's... There we go. The hair did the rosewood thing I wanted it to do. Awesome. Let me just zoom in real quick. Whoop. It's like a subtle reddish tinge to the hair. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Awesome. Cool. I think I will add a little bit of buff to the laces of the boots. Just a little bit. He did hit the follow button, Zach. That's why I'm at 46. But I appreciate the sell. So just that little bit. There we go. So just that little bit of tan on the laces adds a pretty cool texture to the boots. Now bear in mind, I don't want you to think in any way, shape, or form that this stuff is difficult. I've just been painting for years. I had like 5 people at one point. Well, yeah, I know. You lost track of how many people were doing stuff at 5? My guy, come on. Gonna see if you hit up those stores. Add to your collection. Maybe scope out the places when it comes to live games. You don't have the best experience. You didn't have the best experience once, kind of killed it. That's gonna happen sooner or later. Do you feel comfortable going into details? What happened in that session that kind of scared you off? With a larger, let's go with the small dry brush. A gaming shop we had back like 6 years ago. You want to get into D&T when you were in high school. Tried it out. Group hosting it didn't want you in because you didn't know who to play and you were a girl or something stupid like that. Yeah, some groups are dumb. That's gonna happen. That sort of stuff doesn't really happen much, but it happens, unfortunately. A bunch of neckbeards don't know how to act around chicks, so either they were gonna hit on you incessantly or they're gonna be pretentious comic book guys. You probably dodged a bullet. Yeah. Worst character concept ever. Of course, these are probably the same kind of dudes who have, like, Thrain Cockstrong as their level 1 character. If you don't get that reference, I'm sorry. Less paint. Just happy to know you have your group that helped you. Nice. As a reference to one of the D&D fan movies you saw a while back, sort of. There was a D&D comic series that's out on the internet that goes over, like, D&D stereotypes and whatnot, and there's this guy who's just hard. Let me see if I can find it. It is a freaking gift. Yeah, he literally started playing D&D. Zach over here literally started playing D&D because of me. Oh, shit. Yeah, that's not stuff I can show on the internet. No. This is why... This is why I don't show my browser until I actually have the comic pulled up. D&D stereotypes. Comic. Images. Yeah, so Zach's first session, and it was amazing, by the way. Let me just adjust my microphone here. Zach's first session, I decided, hey, I'm going to be a dick and throw a underpowered, heavy bad guy at him. Where the fuck is it? It was so pure. And it had such a distinct art style. Oh, there it is. Yes. Okay. Dorkly was the ones that did it. Here we go. The overcompensator. Thrax Cockstrong. Okay. Yeah, we just get rid of that. And main setup. My character is Thrax Cockstrong, and he's a half-paladin, half-orc halfling, and he's the exiled prince from the Netherworld, and he has an invisible demon familiar that knows when people are lying, and he's an outlaw framed for the murder of the Elven King, and he has bonuses in strength and charisma because he used to be a legendary sex warrior at the Second Colosseum. How about no? You've heard someone with a character like that. That's about right. There was, oh God, have I got a story for you. Oh my Lord. Okay. Let's tell the story about Travis. So... I love telling this story because I love the reactions that it always pizza beer. Yeah, all right, we're gonna tell the story about Travis. So, first time I had ever played 5th edition, it was still technically D&D Next, right? They were still doing the beta stuff. They were still trying to get it out, and they were still trying to work on that sort of stuff. And I had joined a particular... Ooh, that's bright. Let me pull up that other screen. That way I still have my camera tools. So we were playing Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, and the quest that the DM had put together was I think it was like hunting vampires or some crap, and the party was in a basement sewer thing, and for whatever reason they didn't have any healers. I didn't understand it. It didn't make any kind of sense, but they needed a healer, and they had sent out the rogue of the party, Travis's character, to... yeah, I'll do Travis's voice in a minute. It's fucking gold. But they had sent out the rogue of the party to try and hire more people to help them out. And this is how my character and someone else's character showed up. And this character that I made ended up being the prototype for Thodin that I played in Notorious's D&D campaign. So just so you have that sort of concept. They had literally the same name, and he was a cleric. So my character as a cleric is chaotic good. We had also hired a wizard. Travis decided that he was going to play a elf rogue female with the chaotic evil alignment and a charisma of 7. I think it might have been 6. No, yeah, charisma is 6. Yeah. Ah, yes, beautiful. I know this pain, right? It gets better. So, we get to the front door of this manor. There's some guards outside. They're all stoic and powerfully built, plate armor with like the tabard of the city guards on them. And then he's like, "Halt there, travelers! Your weapons are not allowed inside," because there's a party going on. So I'm like, I got this. Ow. I rolled a persuade. These are my entourage. I'm a cleric of such and such, and we need to be able to keep people safe if anything happens, what with the vampires and all. I succeed. The guards let us inside. Travis goes, "I'd like to roll to pickpocket the guard." Yeah. So, I just really quickly DM, we haven't even gotten into the doors yet. I want your opinion real quick, DM. Just want your opinion, just real quick. It's probably gonna go as best as you think it is. Can I just metagame slightly for a second, DM? Can I just metagame? Yeah, sure. What's up, Steve? Look, can I roll to see if my character would know what kind of a raging turd they are? Because, I mean, I got sense alignment. I should be able to know what they're going to be doing, right? The DM thinks about it. He's like, I mean, you got sense alignment. You know they're kind of a piece of shit, but go ahead and make a roll. So I roll insight. I know they're an asshole. Good. All right. Fantastic. So, all right. So, can I retroactively roll to just to keep an eye on this idiot so we can get this mission done? DM goes, yeah, I'll allow it. Why not? 17 plus my modifiers. I see what dumbass is about to pull. So I grab his hand and lead him inside, which is freaking hilarious because if I remember correctly, my character's charisma was like 16. Sounds like your whole group and Zephyr. My character's charisma is 16 and I'm a cleric, and I'm grabbing a chaotic evil elf rogue with a charisma of 6 by the hand and dragging her through the doorway. You have to hold her hands like 80% of the time, right? So, we get inside, there's party music, there's stuff going on, it's pretty casual. From a quick cursory glance, we know for a fact that through the kitchen is the only way to get to the basement. However, outside of the kitchen there are guards, and inside of the kitchen there are probably other guards. Well, they don't want anyone spiking the punch, so it makes sense. Travis gets a brilliant idea. Hey, guys, I got an idea. Push me through the door. Travis, what the hell would that actually do? How would that help?
I'll handle it. Just push me through the door. Just do it.
No! We're gonna come up with a plan, not an encounter. So we end up doing some Hitman bullshit. We knock out some guards, pretending to be drunk and we need help in the library, well the hell away from everyone else. We pretend to be drunk, knock them out when they're away from everyone else, and steal their uniforms. DM's like, alright, while you guys are working on that, we're going to go back to the group that's already well into the depths beneath the manor. And they go through another encounter fighting some ghouls and a vampire or two. They're getting their asses handed to them, loudly lamenting that they don't have a cleric with them. I'm like, guys, I gotta deal with this. Bear with me. And then Travis is like, fucking around on his phone. So we fast forward a little bit. We get our uniforms. We sneak through the kitchen. We get down to the basement. The DM says, alright, the room you're in is a pentagonal in shape. The stairwell leading back to the kitchen is behind you. The door's shut heavily. To your left is a doorway. To your right is a doorway. There are torches, miscellaneous stuff going on, and a really nice rug in the middle that has the symbol of the vampire cult on it. Travis takes a look at the room.
I go to the doorway on the left and I push it open.
Dead serious. I look at the DM. Myself and the wizard are as physically far away from that doorway as possible in this room. DM goes, alright. Rolls. Doorway opens, revealing a 40-meter long hallway that curves right at the end so you don't see where it goes. There is a carpet that has been specifically cut for the hallway, and the walls are lined with paintings. This is some next level stupidity, right? This is some next level stupidity. So Travis is like, okay.
I walk into the room and I start tipping all the paintings.
Fucking what? He gets like 15 feet in, tipping all the paintings. A poison dart trap activates, stabs him in the butt. He's taking ongoing poison damage, looks at me, big doughy eyes. I use healing word. Stop being an idiot! 15 health! So while Travis is going down the hallway, the wizard and I, bear in mind, this is the first time the wizard has ever played Dungeons & Dragons. He put together a character he's never touched the game before. So I'm having to half tutorial for him. Well, normally in a dungeon setting like this, you would want to do like a perception check to see if you notice traps. You would want to do a dungeoneering check if you are used to that sort of thing. You have to be trained for certain abilities like Arcana or Thievery or things like that. But most of the time, you ask the DM if something is appropriate, and they'll give you a solid yes or no. But most of the time, they'll also try and elaborate on it. Like, yes, but this would probably work better. Or no, however, you have abilities that would work. That sort of thing. So I'm literally tutorialing for this guy. I'm giving this wizard a tutorial on how to be a proper frickin' dungeon delver. And he does some checks on the door. The doorway is safe. We look through the keyhole. There's another stairwell leading down. And the wizard rolls insight, and the DM flat out tells him that's probably the right way to go. Flat out tells him! Travis gets to the end of his 40-meter long hallway. There's another doorway.
Okay,
looks at his character sheet.
I push the door open and take cover on my side of the door frame.
The entire table is just rolling their eyes, literally. Oh, I missed a spot. Oh my god, I missed the spot in the library. Rewind a little bit. After we had finished knocking out the guards in the library, I can't believe I missed this bit, because it was some great level of sass for me, because I don't think he was paying attention. He's special. But after we had stolen all of the uniforms from the guards and were leaving the library, the wizard comes up with the idea of pouring alcohol in their bodies so it seems like they're drunk and no one's going to believe them. We start to leave and Travis goes, yeah, I turn around and head towards the guards and draw my knife. I look at the DM. He's like, okay. The rest of the group is like, oh god, he's doing it again. I look at the rogue and just, what are you doing, rogue? Huh? Oh, nothing. They aren't infected and they're not working for the vampires. Leave them alone. What? I'm not doing anything. Rogue, I'm gonna say this once. If any guard dies tonight from your misbehavior, you won't be getting any heals for the rest of the campaign. The rogue put his knife away and we left the library. Sorry, I forgot that part. That is just, it's an important little detail, but I don't know why I forgot it. Jesus Christ. Anyways, back to where we were. Travis gets to the end of his hallway, pushes the door open, and then takes cover on his side of the door frame. So, Travis pushes the door open. DM rolls again. Goes, alright. You push the door open. The top hinge is very, very old. It creaks and fails, and the door slams against the wall. Inside of the room are about 15 robed individuals. On the back of all of the robes is the symbol of the vampire cult we've been fighting the entire campaign. One of them turns to face you and holds their hand out Kylo Ren style. I need you to make a will save. Now the entire table is on edge, because the rogue, even though they're fucking retarded, is pretty talented. So Travis rolls his will save. Gets a 19. Passes with flying colors. DM says, alright. Half of the robed individuals turn to face you, and a deep booming voice goes, stop! I need you to make another will save. So I'm looking at my character sheet panicking, the wizard looking at his character sheet and panicking, and then Travis goes, oh no. I look over at his die, he just rolled a 1. For those of you in I don't play Dungeons & Dragons land, that means he critically failed. Instantly, his body is frozen through telepathic energy, and the robed figures advance upon him, slowly, methodically. They know he's not going anywhere. They're taking their time. The DM looks at me specifically, not the wizard, me, and goes, what do you guys do? Travis is like, well, you're gonna save me, right? So I look at my character sheet. I see a lack of physical combat abilities because this character is level 4! And I look at the wizard's character sheet because he's also level 4. And then I look at the way I had built the character, my character, and I go, I grab the wizard by the collar of his coat, I drag him through the opposite doorway, the one we were investigating, and I roll a stealth check to make it look like Travis was the only person here. Roll the dice. Nat 20. So, Travis is now almost in tears. It gets real dumb in a minute because the whole rest of that evening was a fucking dumpster fire. So Travis is the one causing all of this shit, right? Travis, I don't know him. Oh, sorry, you were making a joke, yeah. So Travis, in his infinite friggin' wisdom, starts to complain. What? You're not gonna save me? I had been looking at my sheet rather than looking at him because I didn't want to feel guilty. But that one sentence, instantly I don't feel guilty. I just look up. I'm a healer. I never said I was a nice person. The entire table, just instantly, it's like the dude's overreacting meme, just, oh! Even the DM's like, that's fucking savage, my guy. So Travis is upset. His character has been captured. And we continue on. We link up with the original party. We relay to them what the hell happened. I'm here to heal people, not take hands, thank you. Right? Exactly. So we start traveling through furthermore the dungeon, and about here, the ranger of the group, the player at least, goes, "Hey guys, I'm gonna grab a smoke, I'll be right back." Alright, cool. We don't really think about it. We continue on, we're traveling along, and we get to a boss fight. I'm able to bless water. One of the other guys has a canteen of infinite water. So what does he do? I bless the water in his canteen, and then he's splashing people with it. Which is a pretty creative situation. We ended up resolving the fight. But about halfway through the fight, which is about 40 minutes past, the ranger's still gone. And most of the time when he's smoking, it's like he'll inhale a cigarette, and then he's back in like 5 minutes. Where the hell did the ranger go? It's been 40 minutes. He's still gone. So it's like, I'll go look for him, guys. I'll be right back. I'll go look for him. I figured, I'm the new person at the table. It's probably a good idea if I try and ingratiate myself with them by volunteering to go on a fucking side quest to find where the ranger went. So I head out of the store. I can't find him. What the fuck is going on here? Head a little ways down, and literally 2 doorways down, it's a comic book store right next to the gaming store, right? 2 doorways down, I poke my head through the window. There's the ranger and the guy who's running the store, and they're playing Mortal Kombat versus DC on the store owner's TV. Okay. I see how it is. Yeah, exactly. So, I head back to the group and I go, his ass is playing video games out in Raptor. The DM goes, alright, hand me his character sheet. Can you hand me his character sheet? Okay. Folds it, puts it into a folder. Hey Steve, there's a vampire near his character. The vampire goes to grapple him. Can you... I need to make a roll for you guys. I need to make a roll to see if the vampire grapples him. And he gets his die. He gets a d20 and rolls it in front of us. And he gets like a 5 or a 6. Oh no, the vampire... Right, you now in the band folder. But he gets his dice, rolls... Gets like a 5 or a 6. Oh no, the vampire crit, and he seems to have grabbed the ranger. Steve, I need you to roll a defense, otherwise the ranger could die. And he sounded as sarcastic as I do. And I'm just like, I see what you're putting down. I roll. I get like a 19. Oh no, he got a nat 1. How bad could this be? And then the DM describes the dude basically being fatality'd. The vampire tears through his neck, rips his head off, and drinks the spinal fluid. And then the DM, as he's sitting down, goes, no one say shit to him even after he gets back. So we finish the boss fight, and the ranger shows up. He sits down like nothing had happened. We're in the middle of divvying the loot. He's now a Capri Sun pouch. Yes! Gotta roll the bottom to get all the juices. Oh, God. So... So the ranger sits down as we're divvying the loot. I find a pretty cool hammer. I was using a mace, but I find a really cool hammer. And he goes, oh, that's pretty cool. Hey, what's my cut? You don't get one. He looks to the DM. Why not? DM goes, oh, you weren't here. Your character critically failed to save against a grappled vampire. You're dead. And then the DM just very politely stands up. I need to talk to you outside, by the way. And anytime I've seen DM take that kind of gravity with somebody, it's just like a, oh shit kind of moment. So the ranger heads outside, the DM follows after him. I'm having a conversation with one of the other players. One of those weird coincidence things in the universe. One of the other players, the fighter and tank for the group, is the brother of one of my... It's very disrespectful, absolutely. But one of the party members of the fighter of the group was one of my ex-girlfriend's brother. So it was kind of weird, like, poking my head around, going into the gaming store, seeing him going, oh, fuck, how's this going to play out? And he goes, hey, Steve, good to see you. How you doing, man? Pretty good. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Cool. Hey, you don't gotta be worried, man. I know my sister's a piece of shit. She turned into the village bicycle after she broke it up with you. Oh. That's good to know. Kind of, okay. And then we had a laugh making fun of her. So... we're chatting about game mechanics and stuff, and we're telling the wizard about other cool mechanics that he's capable of, because 5th edition was actually really easy for wizards. And I look out at the window, and I see the ranger just, like, doing the hands out to the side like this, like he didn't know, like, he's doing this, I don't know, man, I don't know. And I see the DM just... and I'm just like... and then they head back inside. And the ranger doesn't say shit. The rest of the time, he's sitting there. He's got his little attitude. He's sitting there, fucking around on his phone. He's got his attitude on. Like, I don't give a fuck. You weren't here for the boss fight when we needed you, dumbass. So then, we finish the adventure. We escape the manor. And the DM goes, Travis, you're chained to the wall. A heavy rope lies around your neck and securing your wrists and ankles. You cannot move. What do you do? So what does he do? He decides he's going to go out like David Carradine or Epstein and breaks his own neck on the rope. 3 sessions later, he was a vampire summoned undead creature, and we had to fight him. Needless to say, it was a curb stomp battle. We annihilated him. The next several times I played any sort of tabletop games, Travis was special. Very special. Travis was part of the Marvel RPG group. He had like 3 characters. Yeah, the sheer number of times he gets his characters knocked out is fucking magical. So literally, there was one fight, and it's like it's a session of Serious Sam. It really is. There's a room full of bad guys. What does Travis do? Flies above the whole situation, starts shooting at dudes. Pew, pew, pew. One of the bad guys takes one look, literally beams him out of the sky with an optic blast. His character hits the ground violently, and then a couple other dudes advance. Travis is up again, one of his other characters. That character goes jumping into the fray and punches one dude, knocking him out. And then that character proceeds to get his shit pushed in by 2 other guys standing nearby. And now the rest of the party... the rest of the party has to move in and try and bail out Travis's knocked out characters. They have superhero D&D, right? It's not nearly as fun as D&D. The way the mechanics work for Marvel... No, we actually won that session. We knocked out most of the guys. We got bullshit lucky because Etienne had his characters. Something you're going to want to be aware of anytime you join a D&D game. If the Dungeon Master has a character who seems way sturdier than the rest of the party, watch out for that. It's a shit show. But, the way the Marvel system works is, like, most of the stats and stuff, most of the rules and stuff make sense, but when it comes to health, well, we're not going to turn this into the bashing Etienne session, but like there are some things that are concerning, and yeah, he doesn't listen to criticism. But the way they run health in the Marvel system is, if you have a defense of 26, then someone adding their different abilities together has to surpass 26. Every point past your defense is damage you take. So for example, if I have a telekinetic barrier, an energy shield, combat armor, and I know a guy is trying to strike me with a melee ability, I can use my close combat ability in a defensive way and bump my defenses all the way up to 30. That other guy, with his combat abilities, strength, and miscellaneous stuff added together, would have to surpass 30, so like 31 or higher. It's kind of freaking difficult. If you follow the Marvel rules, it's kind of difficult. But then he started adding homebrew shit, and there was one situation where we went to nut up against, I think it was Omega Red. And if you read the books, and if you read the updated character sheet that was put together because of the Marvel game, he's not really that sturdy physically. You can knock him out if you try hard enough. The group tried hard enough with a combined strike of 210. He was still alive. Yeah. But a different situation where their team had a combined strike of 140 literally vaporized an enemy who, in the lore, is sturdier. Yeah, that game was fun. That's literally the reason I'm writing a tabletop engine. Well, one of many reasons I'm writing a tabletop engine. Sorry, we're here to paint. Yeah, I'm here to paint, not talk shit. Jesus. Alright. Back to the painting setup. She's looking pretty good. I dry brushed some tan on there to get some highlights going. I'm going to go with a larger dry brush. Oh yeah, the D&D stories are always fun. Like when Zach's first session ever and he got knocked through a friggin' window. So the first time Zach ever played any sort of tabletop game, he decided he wanted to play a Dwarf Ranger in Pathfinder, which a lot of people tend to refer to Pathfinder as Mathfinder because there's charts for friggin' everything, which is a good thing, but sometimes it's a bit of a headache. So they're exploring a little fortress. Dwarf Paladin. I thought you were playing a ranger. Were you playing a ranger or a paladin? It's been too long. Oh, no. That is too heavy. You've heard how bad some players can be. You try really hard not to be that player. Oh, right, the holy gunslinger when you got the rifle. Okay, I remember that now. God, it's been an age. But yeah, sorry, I actually need to physically angle myself under the camera, otherwise I'm going to be like this the entire time. So, we were exploring a little fort thing, and there are a couple of goblins and bandits inside, and then I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to make this interesting. I'm going to throw an underpowered helmed horror at the party. Abaddon Bronzebottom. Yes! He was a friggin' gift. I think we ended up getting to like level 17 or 18 by the end of the campaign. It turned into an epic level campaign. It was pretty fun. I'll use this. Where's my dry brushy brush? But yeah, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw an underleveled helmed horror at him, which is like a giant spiritual armor suit that is like really sturdy. He also had a couple of NPCs backing him up because I didn't want him to die in his first session ever. That's a bit of a dick move. So they start fighting the helmed horror, and Zack didn't get knocked out of the window. The ranger did. But, you know, that's never a good thing. Ranger gets knocked out of the window. Zack is fighting the helmed horror. It's not going well for anyone involved. And the ranger gets back to the second floor just in time for Abaddon to fail a melee attack. And I was experimenting with a critical fumble deck at the time. And sure enough, the critical fumble on the deck that I rolled for Zack was you throw your weapon. So, Zack throws his weapon. Says, Zack, I need you to make a ranged weapon attack. Throwing your weapon at the ranger because he's the only person within range. No, you got a 19 against your own party member. If it was a nat 20, you would have killed the ranger, remember? He gets really high. And he's like, Zack, I need you to roll damage. He gets like a 12 or a 14 damage on a character with 16 health. It was great. It was great. The ranger did survive, but yeah, he wasn't there afterwards. He was like, screw that noise. Almost got gibbed by the guy who we're trying to keep safe. Yeah, rolling for weird, silly stuff is always fun. Oh God, Patrick Wizard. Okay, there's that. That's a can of worms, Zack. Come on, dude. So, Patrick's Wizard. We got to rewind a bit further than just Patrick's Wizard. One of the other players in the group was a buddy of mine named Jordan, and his character was a half dragon. It ended up becoming like a Legend of the Five Rings sort of thing, where the majority of the plot was Jordan rebuilding his empire and the party just sort of rolling with it. Because he was bullshit powerful because I didn't know what I was doing. So, while we're rebuilding Jordan's empire, because power fantasies, an assassin shows up, tries to kill Jordan. I decide, you know what, she's going to be a Shadarkai, why not? Jordan decides, hey, after I kick her out, he defeats her soundly. Alright? And Jordan's like, hey, I want to see if I can recruit this chick. Alright, fine, go for it. She succeeds pretty well, actually. I start doing research into Shadar Kai, and they're like less dickish dark elves. And very, very Klingon. Like, if you impress them, they're either going to want to work with you or get lewd with you. There's not much in the middle. And I'm like, oh god, what have I brought upon myself? So, some silly stuff ensues. Needless to say, he's getting attention from a chick that in a board game. So, he's finding it highly amusing. But I also notice, hey, I have room to be a massive butthole right here. At no point in time did anyone mention any sort of use of contraceptives. So I roll a couple of random dice. And, Katri just sort of disappeared one day and said, hey, I gotta take care of some family shit. I'll be back in a couple months. He was worried because he cared about her, so he tracks her to a particular town. And as they're exploring the town, they get to a market, and I say, I need you to roll a perception check. He does. And I just go, well, from behind, you see a young woman that easily matches Katri's descriptive, but it couldn't possibly be her. The girl over there is pregnant. Because he still didn't get it up until that point. Like, even the bard who was traveling with him was like, yo, dude, a letter like this is usually if they're pregnant and trying to hide it. I mean, of course the bard would know immediately. But, yeah, we get to the mother's house, and there's a big, long conversation, and Jordan promises to marry the girl. That way the child wouldn't just be some bastard kid. And it worked out surprisingly well, actually. The half-dragon, half-Shadar Kai child was actually one of my favorite NPCs. That only showed up in the epilogue. But she was cool. Sorry, I'm going back in the jumpsuit with a blue wash, that Drakenhof Nightshade, because when I did the dry brushing, some of the blue was lost, and I'm trying to keep it as best as I know how. So then we get to Patrick's character, the wizard. Patrick does dumb stuff occasionally. Sometimes it's funny, like critically fumbling a spell. Other times it's not so funny, like what we're about to hear about next. Yeah, she's basically done. Sweet. I should do... Nah, I need to do a wash on the base. Let's do... So we are at a dwarven city. Yeah, he almost nuked an entire town with a fireball. By accident. But, we are in talks with a dwarven city. Or a series of dwarven cities that we managed to convince all of them, hey, come have a conversation with us, why not? And basically Jordan is trying to convince them, because the major government of the area recently got their shit pushed in by the big bad evil guy. So Jordan's trying to build allies. And basically the thing is, work with me, ally under my banner, make me, in charge of everything, and I'll lead us to victory. We'll stop the big bad evil guy because he doesn't have the Staff of Amalur. So it's going pretty well. It's actually going really well. One of the dwarves points out, we had heard that at some point people were trying to assassinate you. Are there any truths to that rumor? And obviously, ego stroking for Jordan, he immediately gets a shit-eating grin and goes, "Yes, they did try." Yeah, it's like, alright, pretty cool, dude. And everyone's having a good chuckle over it. And then Patrick just goes, "Hey, wasn't that the bitch you got knocked up?" And the whole table's kind of cracking up about it, and I just go, hey, Patrick, do you say that, or does your character say that? I'm trying to give him an out. I'm really trying to give him an out. And he just goes, "Oh, yeah, my character says it." Now the table is quiet. The dwarves, very traditionalist dwarves, have faces like thunder. There is this weird moment of silence, and Jordan just looks to the NPC. "Logan, escort the wizard out now." So one of the NPCs just levitates the wizard out and proceeds to chew his ass outside of the meeting hall. And a couple of very careful checks, and Jordan barely manages to resolve the situation. Forgot to mention, at this point in time, it's evolved into an epic level campaign. The party has an airship. So back aboard the airship, oh Jesus, the wizard is escorted to the captain's quarters, where Jordan officially is. And he simply asks, "Why the hell did you do that?" What's the one thing you probably shouldn't say? "I thought it would be funny." Straight up says, "I thought it would be funny." Yeah, this is the first time Zach or Patrick ever played D&D properly. So, Jordan goes, "Alright." Oh wait, no. The wizard didn't fess. The wizard was busy being, looking down and not answering him, so Jordan had to mind control him just to get him to tell the truth. That was fun. And then, he decides, alright, well, now that I know the truth from the wizard, I'm going to use a force blast and knock him through the frickin' wall. So he rolls the attack. It hits. He rolls the damage. And he up-leveled the spells. In Pathfinder and in 5th edition, if you cast a spell at a higher level, it deals a redonk level of extra damage. He max levels it and then says non-lethal damage. Knocks the dude through the wall for like 86 health. 86 points of damage. The wizard had like 40 health. So he's extra out cold. Oh my god. That session was an absolute dumpster fire. Let me dry brush some of that flesh tone back. Absolutely ridiculous. I think the wizard actually skipped out on a couple of sessions after that. just to tell you how good the campaign was, the entire story was based off of South Park Stick of Truth, and we had... Yeah, you guys had no clue until I did the reveal. Cracked me the hell up. Right? Like, one of the first NPCs they ever met was Paladin Stotch. The guy who was in charge for a good period of time. The Great Wizard, Eric. It was easy. It was actually surprisingly easy. Like, all I really had to do was just follow the fantasy story, the way that plays out over the course of the game. Well, think about it from this perspective. If you're joining a D&D campaign where you hear that the Grand Wizard in charge of the Kingdom of Dracaena, or was it Dracaena? I can't remember. The Grand Wizard in charge of the kingdom had a staff that would alter reality, and as a sign of goodwill to the nation states nearby, he disassembled the staff, but the Wood Elves to the north were actively trying to steal the parts of the staff for their own supposedly nefarious deeds. And that's where the party enters the adventure, right? It especially helped that I named the campaign. Sir, I would have been like, wait a sec. Yeah. Now you hear it now, it makes it's a lot more obvious, yeah. Like, there's one spot especially where we meet the elves for the first time, and this is well after certain other stuff had expired. We meet the elves for the first time. It's like, no, we helped Eric build the frickin' staff, and his ass decided he was going to steal it and take over the world. It was funny as shit. Yeah, she's looking great. If I do anything else to this figure, I might end up screwing something up. Let me do that nightshade on the gun. Yeah! You helped Cartman! Especially the way I played him. I mean, that's fine. If you get the joke, it's awesome. If you don't, then it's the sort of thing where it's like, you know, bring it up to the DM afterwards, like, is this shit based off of South Park? And then they give you the shit-eating grin, like, yes. Oh my god, I was having a laugh about it. Just slowly but surely weaving the narrative. It was great. Oh, come on. Stop hitting stuff, Steve. Damn. Alright, well, we are officially 3 hours in. Rosie over here is basically done. I'm just gonna... Well, no, I'm gonna let the wash on the base dry. Yeah, it's gonna be a couple months from now. I am gonna try to radio show stream the Starfinder campaign. I think a lot of people... Sorry, my belly is itchy. Ugh. I think a lot of people would enjoy it, especially if there aren't any cameras on the people playing. I think that would make them a lot more comfortable about any sort of D&D stream. Because I know some of the people that are involved, or that I want to get involved, are very shy and have negative body issues. So that's a thing that I got to deal with, and that's always fun. Yeah, I'll try and get character art, or I'll probably put up a picture of the maps I plan on drawing. I bought huge rolls of like packing paper, and I plan on drawing maps, like star charts and whatnot. So that will hopefully go well. I forgot I had these parts. Holy crud. Oh, that is such a cool looking power fist. Why didn't I use that? Damn it. Sorry, I have just noticed some parts that I had in a bucket that I forgot I had. Jesus. Well done, Steve. Ugh. Ow. Why is my belt line itchy? Ugh. Okay, there we go. Christ. But yeah, at one point, I also threw people off of the scent of the South Park thing by having a group of adventurers. This is when Patrick joined the game. The group of adventurers that Patrick was a part of show up when the airship that they're on, the maiden voyage of that airship, it ends up getting shot down by a blast of arcane energy from the partially reassembled staff of Amalur after most of the parts had been stolen during a raid on the capital city. Thalen Sauer, dwarf mechanic / ace pilot with a drone mech suit that acts like Alfred mixed with Leet from Solo. I was leaning more towards HK, but yeah. Droid efficiency at its best. Yeah, she's looking good. I'm actually really happy with how she turned out. Let me get... What the hell is my... There it is. But yeah, by having suddenly a side story of a major ship being shot down and people getting hurt and that sort of thing, it really threw people off the scent. And heavy use of side quests, both pre-written and otherwise. Oh, good lord. Let me just stir this up real quick. Sorry if you hear any horrible scraping noises. Certain Tamiya paints do not cooperate. There we go. Aw, thanks, Zach. I appreciate it, man. I hope to do the same thing with the Starfinder campaign. It always depends on the DM for you, like the amount of care and story they put in. That's what I feel like. I like the idea of there definitely being a story, but I love it when players are partially allowed to do their own thing. Like, well, I want to go see if there's any way I can earn extra money. It's like, well, yeah, sure, there's a bar nearby and they've got a singing competition. Or little things like that. That's also why you understand why Mercer has an issue with people bashing him as the DM to be. Or basing him as the DM to be. But also notice there are a lot of differences between the way Mercer DMs and the way a lot of other people DM. Mercer's world, the players are reacting to the world. The game you guys went through, the world was reacting to what you guys were up to. You know? I guess the main difference being I wanted to tell your character's story, whereas Vox Machina is telling a story. They are participating in a story. They're not telling their own story. The world reacts to whatever is put in front of them next. It doesn't just sort of do its own thing and the players have to react accordingly. Friends like to put twists and turns on their campaigns while punishing us for stupid actions. Yeah. And yeah, I love the idea of doing stuff like, well, you decide to rob the barkeep. Okay, cool. We now have eyewitnesses. We now have witness testimony. And there's a bounty on your guys' head. But obviously, I will make a roll to see how good the wanted sheets would be. But if it's in a Starfinder setting, they don't need wanted sheets, they have pictures. And if it's like the bars in Pluto Nash, a biometric camera system, they'll have thousands of pictures. They will know exactly what the party would look like. You're trying yourself to do a one-shot Mass Effect story to try DMing out. You want the players to make their own story, but still give them a little something to go off with. That would be interesting. It'd be a damn headache, but it would be interesting. There we go. Sort of like a beat cement texture. I'm not sure. Mass Effect is genuinely awesome. You have a notebook for a Resident Evil one-shot if they ever make some kind of rule for that. Andromeda was a broken mess, but the rest of the franchise is fun. Oh yeah, Resident Evil as a tabletop thing would be a huge amount of fun. If you ever get the chance, you should try and play Zombicide. The rules are a little wonky at first, but it's really fun. Playable in the loosest sense possible. Yes, it was very bland. Also, we got such magical lines as, "I'm sorry, my face is tired." Who the
fuck wrote that and why was it approved so far? There we go. Orange Asari? What? When the hell did that happen? I'm glad I didn't see that. Jesus Christ. I'm glad I didn't get far enough into the game to see that. I would have table flipped. That would have pissed me off. Yep. Yeah, I'd be flipping out too. Sheesh. I think this pot's basically dead. We'll try stirring it. Yeah, like the only time in the lore there was an Asari that had a different skin tone was because that Gravemind looking ass plant thing was cloning a chick. And that was green. What the hell? Thorian, thank you. Yeah, this pot's basically toast. They also made it so Krogan didn't have the genophage because 600 years of sleep killed it. What? That doesn't... No. There wasn't a cure for the genophage until Mass Effect 3. And that was because Shepard busted his butt to do it. And so did the one dude, I can't remember his name because they killed him off. I'm gonna leave that to try. that, and that doesn't make sense. The Solarians would have thought of that. Morden Solus, thank you. I am the very model of a Solarian geneticist. Yeah, like, the extreme cold killing the virus. But, like, think about it this way. If you're trying... A genophage isn't a virus, though. It's altering the genetic code of the Krogans so that less than 1% of children are born. It's an alteration to genetic code. It's not a virus. So that wouldn't work. Jesus. Now I have a headache. Well, we finished painting, Damn bugs. Who's to say that in 600 years a computer didn't find a cure for it while they were in stasis? People who respect the lore. Anyways, we've officially finished, Katie. You're giving them way more credit than they need, my guy. There we go. I'm really happy with how she's come out. I'm going to try and have some pictures on the Discord, probably after this stream. So if anyone wants to head over there and actually check it out, the pictures will be on there. I love the way she's turned out today. I really do. And I also I would really appreciate it if EA doesn't give me a ration of shit over my music choice in this video, because I wanted something that sounded sci-fi, and I happened to have particular music from a song. But with my luck, now that I've mentioned it, I'm probably going to get hit with a copyright strike. Probably. Okay. Outro time. Alright, folks. I hope you had fun with this particular stream. I know I did. Painted a cool mini. It's going to be until next week, until I can get another video out, because Hurricane Dorian is a potato. I hope to paint more. Next week, probably Monday, I'm going to either be painting some Imperial Guardsmen, or I'm going to finish up my Space Marines. I'm not sure yet. If you like this video, hit like if you're watching on YouTube. Hit the follow button if you're watching this on Twitch. Go ahead and join the Discord. And until we meet again, stay classy, Internet.